from Hartlepool. It's episode 1 of the Turbocast for the 8th of August 2009. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Turbocast, the online audio journal of philosophical inquiry. My name is Simon. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Brownell. Good evening, Doctor. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Simon.
Nice to have you to be here. We have a very exciting show for you this evening. We're going to kick it off with digestion news. We're going to look at some news in bullshit or not. Very exciting feature called Dr. Brownell's Day-to-Day from years ago. And finally, we're going to take a look in the Turbo Sock and answer listeners' mail. And then the Doctor will play us out with an original composition. Send any comments or queries to theturbosack@gmail.com. Dr. Brownell's music can also be enjoyed at youtube.com/Dr. Brownell. So, what's the digestion news, Doctor?
Reasonably quiet. I did have a little bit of a problem as part of my recent swine flu experience. Quite a lot of painful diarrhoea. I felt sick for quite a long time, although I wasn't actually sick.
Mm-hmm. And did you really have swine flu, or was it the work avoidance scheme?
I think unless... Quite a large moth just flown into the studio. I think unless you get to the point where you're hospitalised, nobody can truly say whether they've had swine flu or not. But I did have it.
Here's my contention. All of these, I won't say all of them, but a good proportion of these fuckers who claim to have swine flu have just got a cold and they fancy 2 weeks off work.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
I also read somewhere that, the NHS Crisis Swine Flu Call Centre.
Yeah.
One of the people working there had been a window cleaner up until the week before and was now given a script of how to answer swine flu questions.
Yeah, I was actually diagnosed online.
By a window cleaner?
No, I didn't speak to anybody.
Really?
I just went to the website. You just tick a few boxes.
Or did you feel like shit? Yes, no, you've
Yeah.
got swine flu?
Yeah, you got swine flu. Here's your number. Go and pick your Tamiflu up.
Really?
Hmm?
Is it any wonder this country's on its knees?
Yeah, there you go. Thankfully I pulled through and I'm here today.
Well, we're all grateful for that. I know of a bit of second-hand digestion news that doesn't concern me, but a friend of mine who went camping, and due to the rather primitive facilities, didn't have a movement for 5 days.
Nasty.
So when he came back to the office, I asked him to record his thoughts and feelings when he finally did go. And his exact quote was, "There were a couple of pace cars coming out first. The first one big enough it could almost speak, and by the end it was just coming out like tar."
Yeah. That does cause me to think about times when I haven't been for quite a long time.
Mm.
I can think of 2 instances. When I had my little car accident after the 25 pints, and I don't think I went through the windscreen. I think I went through the side window. Got mild concussion, and I think that was maybe 4 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you showing symptoms after 4 days?
Symptoms of
being packed full of shite?
I don't know. I think it was the shock. I think it was the shock. My system just ground to a halt, and it just gradually came back on stream.
I had a similar experience triggered by a lesser trauma. I went on a business trip to Belarus in the winter of 2000, and it was such a cultural and sense of dislocation and isolating experience for me, because this is pre-cell phones working in Belarus, so I was really man alone on the Eastern Front. My system shut down. I think that was a 4-day one.
Uh-huh.
And when I did go, it was epic.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, in Russia, you don't produce into the water. There's a like a dry ledge in the pan,
Uh-huh.
and you deposit onto that, and when it flushes, it wipes it off the pan. So as you're producing the 4-day shit, you're getting the full toxic vapours from it because none of it's in the water.
Yeah.
Like, you only really get a bad smell from the bit that's sticking out of the water in a normal toilet.
And you get the smell at its head.
Yeah. So that was scarred my mind. And I'll always remember that one. That's the one that stands out as a feast after quite a lengthy famine.
Uh-huh. My second one was when I had my appendix out. I think that might have even been longer. It might have been knocking on for a week.
Really?
Yeah.
So were the doctors threatening enemas and things if you didn't produce?
I think he was getting close to that, yeah. He was getting close. I can't remember, they wouldn't let you out of hospital until you'd had a movement. No, I definitely got out, but the pain when you pushed just felt like your guts were going to burst open.
Because everything just turned to concrete.
Yeah, and it was... Unfortunately, I can't remember exactly what it was like when, it all came right, but...
Well, I think on behalf of the listeners, I'll just ask the next time you're hospitalised, please.
Yeah, I'll pay more attention. Yeah.
Right, on a related subject, I'm sure you're aware of the website thisiswhyyou'refat.com, which is a favourite of mine.
Yeah.
Which is, for people who don't know it, it's a website that details egregiously high-calorie content meals with layer upon layer of hyper-palatable foods, mostly featuring salt, sugar and fat. And I was thinking that perhaps the Turbo Sack should be contributing a recipe for the Turboburger to this site, and wondered if you had any ideas on what such a burger would be.
I've always liked the idea of perhaps having a very savoury burger, burger with bacon and cheese, and perhaps having a sweet in with the burger.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps a fresh cream trifle, a mini trifle.
I think that'll just be... I mean, the food on This Is Why You're Fat is supposed to be disgustingly attractive. That just sounds disgusting. But let's...
I don't know, it really appeals to me. I really like the idea.
But to break it down, the key features of a featured food on This Is Why You're Fat is it's very, very large, and it tends to have many ingredients laid together, like a burger made between two margarita pizzas. So let's just start from the bottom of the Turboburger. And I guess we're looking at I mean, can you get a bun more than 6 inches diameter?
I think they're called a stotty, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
That's a big round bun. You would get a breakfast stotty. It's about the size of your average dinner plate.
So I think a pretty good starting point would be to get the breakfast stotty and fry both halves of it in bacon fat.
Yeah, can you sort of do that in Lurpak or something? Can you deep fry it in Lurpak, perhaps?
Yeah, things that are fried in butter smell really awful, but yeah. So you got your fried stotty as your base, then what's next?
I don't know. I mean, there's many things that can go into a burger. I mean, obviously you've got to have...
I think you want something like ground beef, egg yolks and Tabasco sauce and chopped onions in the burger patty itself.
Yeah. Bacon. I don't know. Maybe you could have what do I call it? Like a gammon. The burger in between a couple of gammon steaks.
Yeah, maybe just one gammon steak. You don't want any one flavour to overpower the others.
Yeah.
So we've got a fried stotty, a Tabasco flavoured beef burger, a gammon steak. Then
eggs. You'd have to have eggs.
Maybe 4 fried eggs.
Yeah, 4 fried eggs on top of the gammon steak.
Yeah. Then some cheese. 3 or 4 different types of cheese.
Yeah, how about beans? No, they're a bit too healthy, aren't they?
Well, you don't want to make it too sloppy.
Yeah, there is that.
What
You need to have some sort of potato aspect. A layer of chips. They would go nicely into the egg yolks.
Yeah, I feel you've skipped over the cheese layer though. I mean, what's the super strong tasting cheese?
Yeah, the cheese always goes on the top, doesn't it? So it runs down the outside of all the other things, so you're getting it all the way through.
Right, and then the bacon on top of the cheese.
You could have cheese.
I mean, you must have cheese and you must have bacon. That's a given.
Yeah, I just don't know how the chips, cheese and bacon would. Yeah, maybe you could, when you fry your chips in lard, you could just fry the bacon with it, and then so you've got bacon and chips, and then with the cheese drizzled over that.
What's the strongest tasting cheese you've ever encountered?
Oh, God.
I mean, as you know, I'm a resident of the European mainland, and there what I tend to find is the cheese has incredibly strong smell, but not an incredibly strong taste. Whereas British cheese is the other way around. It doesn't really smell of anything, but it'll still pucker your mouth up like a cat's anus.
I don't know, I haven't really got any good cheese.
Didn't we used to buy some from the supermarket?
It was number 5, wasn't it? Wasn't it number 5 on there? Yeah.
You can tell you're in a quality delicatessen when the cheese just has a number.
Yeah. Yeah, get number 5. And it was quite often used in conjunction with sausages. That was the sausage and cheese sandwiches. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just a number 5 cheese, I suppose, then.
As an aside, I believe the sausage and cheese sandwich was the meal once identified you could only eat when you were absolutely starving.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're really full, and then it was, what could you just not eat now? That was it. Yeah. Sausage and cheese. Oh.
So I also gave the Turboburger a little bit of thought, and my feeling was to go on a Southeast Asian trip, and I was going to go for a highly spiced chicken burger.
Yeah.
With a layer of peanut butter to do like a Malaysian chicken satay, followed by cheese, and then to keep in with the Malaysian theme, we'd have beef bacon, so the whole concoction is halal.
Yeah, I just don't know where chicken figures in something like that.
Because it's not really nauseating enough.
Yeah, you just can't get it. You know, chicken's not that bad for you, really, is it?
Well, I was going to...
Even if you deep fry it, you still don't get that. It just doesn't soak it up enough, does it? It's a bit too dense.
Well, I was going to make it like a chicken patty by chopping it up with chili peppers and then deep frying it.
You remember the pustule we got in the chicken from Joanna's?
No, the black juice. Just as a historical note, Dr. Brownhill and I once did a survey of every fast food outlet in Hartlepool sometime. Must have been in the mid-90s, and somehow survived it without hospitalisation. But the low point of the whole experience was a piece of deep-fried chicken, and when it was opened, it appeared to have a chamber in the middle filled with scalding hot black juice. And for which the outlet in question, I think, was marked down in the final assessment.
Yeah, I think it came about midway, didn't it, in the table?
So I think we'll take the recipes away and think about it, and we may actually make one of these burgers and record it for a future podcast.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, well, I think that's it for digestion news, unless you've got anything else.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, let's move it on into bullshit or not. What we're going to do here is take a look at the news stories of the day, and I'm sure many of our listeners are convinced that we're completely manipulated by the mass media, and they feed us stories that have varying degrees of bullshit in them. So we're going to look at a few news stories and establish whether they're true or not. So what I'm going to do is give you a brief summary of a news story, Doctor, and then if you want more details, I'll give you such details as are available in the story, and we'll decide on the bullshit factor. So number one, the headline is Chinese Transformers fan gets hooked on gasoline. Always fucking China. A 14-year-old Chinese fan of the Transformers movie has been addicted to gasoline in an attempt to become a valiant fighter like Optimus Prime. So he started emptying fuel tanks in the neighbourhood, and his concerned family have sought medical advice on his serious mental disorder and petrol addiction. Since my son began drinking fuel, his IQ has dropped sharply. Before that, he was a very smart boy, but now he does not know the answer of 7 plus 17. So the article's pretty clear. He's not huffing the gasoline, he's not sniffing it, which is a pretty common form of solvent abuse. He's actually drinking it. So I tend to call bullshit on this.
Yeah, the old bullshit alarm's going off there quite loudly from this corner.
Because I'll tell you why. I mean, the kid's only 14 and he's Chinese, so he's going to be skinny. And I was once messing around with a motorcycle and a friend of mine siphoning petrol, and he got a mouthful of petrol. And he went down like he'd been hit with a fucking pickaxe handle just from a mouthful. He went straight into toxic shock. So that's why I have a little bit of difficulty believing this 14-year-old kid's drinking petrol to try and be like... And plus, Optimus fucking Prime doesn't run on petrol, as far as I know.
Yeah, very, very dubious. I mean, obviously I didn't have first-hand experience of anyone actually drinking petrol. I think I've certainly had petrol in my mouth on many occasions from my time in the car hire business. Quite often run out of petrol and I've siphoned from one thing to another, and I've had petrol in my mouth.
So what does it taste like?
It's not very nice. It's not very nice at all.
But you can tell it's just a very volatile, toxic substance when it's in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I love the smell of petrol.
Well, many people do. That's the.
I don't think you get to the point where, I think the first time he did it, if he did indeed do it, he'd have been violently ill.
But your body can't metabolise it in any way when it's in your stomach.
Yeah, it'd drop through you, or you'd spew it back out ASAP. So, no, it's bullshit for me, that.
Right, so, sorry, Novosti, which is the website I found the news on, we're filing your Transformers fan drinking petrol story under bullshit. Next story. Florida man blames cat's paws for child porn downloads. Florida investigators say man accused of downloading child pornography is blaming his cat. So he's charged with 10 counts of possession of child pornography after more than 1,000 images were found on his own computer. So he claimed his cat jumped on the computer keyboard while he was downloading music. He said he left the room and found strange things, in quotes, on his computer when he returned. He's been held on $250,000 bill. That's fucking a lot. And it is unclear if he has an attorney. It's pretty clear to me he doesn't have an attorney, because I don't think a lawyer would come up with a bullshit cat story.
I'll have to say that I think that's probably true, because strangely enough, the very same thing happened to me. It can happen very easily.
Turn you back for a minute.
Yep. There you go. So
clearly bullshit.
Yeah.
But I think the interesting thing about this story is not that he's come up with a cat excuse, but that he expected anybody to believe it. So he's going to say to the cops, these 1,000 images of child porn on my computer came from the cat walking on the keyboard, and the cops are going to say, oh, well, in that case.
I suppose the only thing I can say about this story, when you compare it to the last one, is that you have to say that it is possible. It's the monkeys on the typewriters thing
Yeah.
that you'd have to say that it is possible.
Well,
Whereas, drinking petrol, I think we established that wasn't. But this, it could be the most unlikely thing.
well, when I first thought of it, I thought 1,000 images. Well, you can't download 1,000 by accident. But then I thought, what if it's all in a RAR archive and it was a BitTorrent?
Yeah.
So,
All I wouldn't say that it has to be. It can't possibly be true.
but it's not, and he's a fucking nonce.
Yeah.
Right. Next story from Russia. The young sportswoman nicknamed Bronya, which is Russian for armour, and has been into extreme powerlifting, and she's considered Russia's strongest woman. So, she's 22, her name is Maria Kiglieva, and she can pull a 14-ton combine harvester. Like walk and pull it behind her.
Yeah.
She weighs 220 pounds, which I guess is 18 stone. So, she's recently been demobilised from the Russian army, where she worked in the canteen of the tank division. So, she pulled the 14-ton combine harvester 2 kilometres uphill on a rough country road. Bullshit or not?
What, the combine harvester?
Yeah, could a woman pull a combine harvester for 2 kilometres?
No.
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 I've seen blokes pulling 747s with their teeth.
Yeah, but it's always on a perfect surface that's flat, and it's never for more than 50 yards. Or the hearts burst open. No, I mean, the fact that she pulled it, I thought, yeah, along a tarmac
Could be done.
for 100 yards. Yeah, a woman of that size and power could easily pull. I say easily. Yeah, I mean, it's well within the realms of possibility, but even the slightest incline, would make it impossible.
Well, we have a slight, possibly bullshit addition to this story about another Eastern European strongwoman. So there's a 12-year-old girl in Ukraine, Varya Akulova, who's capable of deadlifting 350 kilos, even though she only weighs 40 kilos. This youngster has tremendous willpower, according to Pravda, translucent body and thread-like tendons. Her muscles are barely visible. It is quite difficult to grow any on a day-to-day spaghetti diet. The thing is, there is nothing else to eat for her to eat. The reason? Simple lack of money. Despite her age, this young weightlifter already supports her entire family. I presume that means fiscally, not physically. So she's believed to be the strongest girl on the planet. So I'm instinctively saying bullshit to a 350 kilo deadlift from a 12-year-old Getty.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. No, that's just not happening. No,
bullshit.
Yeah, that's complete nutter. Yeah, I think the cat story's looking, more and more likely in this company.
Well, one thing I noticed when I researched stories for this segment, that the vast majority of fucked up, bizarre, weird news stories always come from Russia or China. So I'm not much sure whether there's a greater appetite for made-up bullshit in those countries or what. But again, another story from China.
Mhm.
This one, I feel, possibly isn't bullshit.
Lay it on me.
A passerby pushed a man who was threatening to commit suicide off Haizhu Bridge in Guangzhou, China. The 66-year-old passerby, Lai Jiansheng, told China Daily, "I push jumpers are very selfish. Their action violates a lot of public interests." Lai initially volunteered his services to police to persuade the man not to jump, but police rejected this. Following this, Lai broke through the police barrier to push the man. The pushed man, Chen Fu Chao, survived with spinal and elbow injuries because he landed on a partially inflated air cushion 8 metres below. Lai was taken away by police. The man threatening to jump was in 2 million yuan of debt. 2 million yuan's a lot of money. It's like 200,000 quid.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to believe that's possible because I have a very, very good Chinese friend, and something she once told me that I've always remembered. She said, the only single thing a Chinese person can do that's shameful is to be poor. Any other sort of cruelty or misdemeanour is tolerated, but the one thing you can't do in China is be poor.
I do have to say I've actually seen the video of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of Mr. Lai pushing Mr. Chen off the fridge.
I've either seen a Pucker news story or I've actually seen the video of the bridge. I don't know whether it was of the actual incident, but I can say that's 100% true.
It's not bullshit.
No, it happened.
Fantastic. Next story, and the last story in Bullshit or Not, and for once not from China or Russia. It was the headline that drew me into this story. Saudi businessman orders solid gold penis enlarger. A Saudi businessman has purchased what has been described by the Canadian seller as the world's most expensive adult novelty item, a solid 18-carat gold penis enlarger worth nearly... So, little is known about the buyer except that he lives in Jeddah, and his glitzy new penis enlarger is encrusted at his request with 40 diamonds and several rubies, and is to be delivered in an armoured car. This custom order is expected to be $47,000. So, I'm not sure what I'll make of that. I will say this, I once saw a photograph of the inside of a palace of a very senior member of the Saudi royal family, and they had an escalator, which is decadent enough to have in your house. But this particular escalator was 1 step high, so it possibly bridged a gap of 6 inches at the most and was gold-plated.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just say if you've got that much money, it doesn't matter that you've got a tiny cock.
Yeah, I mean, you could hire women to tell you it was the biggest thing they'd ever seen.
Well, exactly. Would you bother? But, he's bored. Or,
So do you think these things work? I don't think they do. I'm not speaking from experience, but I don't, from a biomechanical point of view.
I don't know. I've done a little bit of research into this for my friend.
Yeah.
I've seen various, tying weights to it, and I don't think there's any the suction thing. Nah. But it's obviously it's classed as a novelty item. I think it's to be used in entertainment. I don't think anybody really believes, to be honest.
No.
But at least you have a bit of fun trying.
Well, we wish our friend in Jeddah all the best, but we're filing solid gold penis enlarger under bullshit. So that concludes Bullshit or Not. I think we've unearthed one true story there, which is the Chinese bridge pushing.
And possibly the cat.
Well, very slim benefit of doubt on the cat. So, next segment, Dr. Brownhill's day-to-day from years ago. as a youngster, Dr. Brownhill was a compulsive diarist, so what we're going to do is I shall pick a date at random. Dr. Brownhill will read the entry from that date, and then we'll discuss the cultural and social significance of that glimpse into the past. So,
It's actually going to be today's date, Simon.
is it really?
But yeah, we'll use today's date, but it's a 5-year diary, so if you'd like to choose the year, we've got 77, 78, 79.
Well, I think we'll go for the birth of punk rock, Jim Callaghan as Prime Minister, and we'll have 1977.
77.
8th of August 1977. So how old would you have been at this point?
10?
Right, and you'd have been on your summer holidays on the 8th of August.
Yeah.
And not yet learned the joys of masturbation, so I assume this entry will feature marbles.
What's the date?
8th of August.
8th of August. Here we go, 1877.
Why are you in the middle of the diary when it's 1977? I mean, I believe you, but...
Because that's a full year going that way, yeah?
Alright, yes, for the listeners, the dates are all on the same page. So we have 5 years of the same date on the same page, so Dr. Brownhill is in the middle of the term, which is August.
Right, here we go, folks. I haven't had a look at this before the show, so I'm just gonna read it out. Here we go. Today I got 8 pence of my dad, so I went to the shop and bought some caps.
Is that it?
That's it. That's it. Discuss.
So, I mean, the thing that hits me first is 8 pence is a curious amount of money.
There was a lot of money in those days.
I don't think it was.
It was enough to get some caps.
I mean, 8 pence is fuck all now, and I'm pretty sure it was fuck all in 1970.
Well, how many years ago was it? That's a long time ago.
32 years.
It's not. Is it?
Yeah.
Shit, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, 32 years.
Well, 8 pence.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only two pence short of a 10p mix-up.
Where do you think you went to get the caps?
Probably over the bungalow shop, which is actually still there.
Is it?
Yeah, it's still in the same place. I walked past the other day, strangely enough. Yeah, it says I went to the shop, so that'll be the only shop.
You lived at Clavering at this point?
No, if I was 10, I actually moved to Throston when I was 10.
Ah, right.
So I'm assuming I was over there. Because if I was at Clavering, I don't think there was a shop. I don't know, I'll maybe just have to do a bit of research. Or not.
Well, the other thing I'd say is I never recall either of us being particularly interested in guns as small boys, and I would wager 8 pence that the caps we used they were either set fire to or detonated in the jaws of a pair of pliers.
I think what I like to do, you know, when you had the long bolts or the stud bar,
Yeah.
and you'd put a nut in the middle, so you get 2 bits of stud bar.
Yeah.
Put the nut onto the top bit, put the caps inside, and then screw the stud bar
Yeah.
down, then drop it off a height,
Ah.
and then you get an explosion. I was quite a big fan of that. Maybe for future shows, you should perhaps go a little bit further into the future. There's in '77, I don't think my writing was that good, so I kept it. I kept it short and sweet, but you can see as the years go on, there's more and more. There's some quite juicy stuff I can see. So,
Well,
I don't know if they were allowed to dip into any.
well, let's read all the entries for the 8th of August.
That's not bad. That's not a bad idea.
So let's go to 1978.
Here we go. Today, Mr. Vickers came and told me that I could go to Hexham because James Liddell has got the measles, or the German measles, of his brother.
Still the of confusion remains.
Yeah.
And for historical interest, who's Mr. Liddell?
Mr. Vickers.
Mr. Vickers, sorry.
Mr. Vickers was my teacher from junior school. He was absolutely wonderful teacher.
Really?
Yeah, it was fantastic. We did all sorts of things. He was the one that started up the marble bank.
Oh yeah.
We had sticklebacks and rabbits and all sorts of animals in the classroom, and he also did a lot of stuff with electricity, lights and wires.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he was marvellous, wonderful teacher.
It's quite amazing that people found the energy and motivation to do that when they're getting paid the square root of fuck all.
Yeah, I think he loved his job. We always thought he had a thing for Mrs. Young, but we didn't really know what a thing was then. But we knew. But anyway, I do actually remember that when he came round, and I think I was scared. I didn't want to go, and I think I hid behind a chair.
I've been to Hexham, and I can understand your reaction.
But I think I actually went the next year.
All right.
And it was great.
So, moving on to 79, Mrs. Thatcher's now in power.
Here we go, 1979. Today I wrote to Why Don't You to ask for a leaflet on electronics.
Right, historical note for listeners, Why Don't You was a TV show aimed at children, principally trying to get you to do anything other than watch television, but 99% of their suggestions were shit.
Strangely enough, I listened to the theme tune to that program on YouTube not 2 weeks ago.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
1980, the Soviets are in Afghanistan. What's the young Dr. Brownhill up to?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't finished 1979.
Oh, sorry.
That was just the first part. See, I actually started.
Yep.
This is the second half of 1979. Today, David and I cleaned the outhouse out.
Who's David?
I don't know. Today, we got a lecture on stealing from my dad.
Is this possibly related to activities in the outhouse?
I don't know. Strange. I got like a Fagin thing, a lecture on how to steal for some reason.
Right.
This is your lecture on stealing 101. I don't know. Who's David?
Yeah.
1979. Today we got a lecture on stealing from my dad. I really don't know.
That just asks more questions than it answers, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. So if you're out there, David, and listening, please call the show.
1980.
Right, 1980. I watched a film called Get Carter.
Fantastic film, Michael Caine.
Should I have been watching that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It starred Michael Caine. We went to the fish sands and then to the carnival. It was very good. I went on the Dodgems and a few other things. Lunaland Funhouse.
That's a landmark summer, 1980.
Yeah.
And finally, 1981. Can I just say, I don't think there was a worse time or place to be alive in the history of human and civilization than North East England in 1981.
1981.
It was a bleak, bleak place.
Are you ready for 1981?
I'm ready for 1981.
I watched the second horror film, starred Oliver Reed and female star of yesterday's Thriller. I think. I went downtown and got my hair cut at Ian's. Not as short as usual. Quite decent. I may have blood-sucking bed bugs in my bed.
What did I tell you about 1981?
I'll sleep in something socks. Bought a Stanley hammer, £3.49.
So, I mean, where do you start with that? Number one, do you think the pestilential plague of bedbugs was real, or just a figment of your adolescent imagination?
I don't know. I'm watching horror films with Oliver Reed and the female star of yesterday's
I
thriller.
can't think of any horror film Oliver Reed's been in.
Oh, he's been in quite a few.
Has he?
I was in, yeah. Oh, he's been in a few. He's been in a few Hammer ones. I think he was a werewolf early on in his career.
So I always had him pigeonholed as, despite being a piss artist, sort of a semi-serious actor.
No, I've probably seen 5.
Really?
Of that genre starring him in, he made a lot of films, but he did a couple of Hammer ones, and he was definitely a werewolf. And then he was in this weird psychological one where this couple went to this place and he was terrorising them. It had a sort of a Hitchcock sort of feel about it. I would do some research if my internet hadn't gone down.
So I think it's also interesting that in 5 years we've gone from spending 8p to spending £3.49.
Yeah, it's quite a nice...
So there you go, kiddies. Monetarism didn't fucking work. But can I just inquire, as how old have you been then? 14? 81?
15.
Yeah.
I'm 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, yeah.
Why does a 14-year-old boy need a hammer? Were you... for a fucking roofing job on the side after school?
Killing bugs. I don't know. It was a Stanley hammer.
Yeah. Brand awareness even then at a relatively young age.
There's something at the end as well. There's another word. It's 3.49 and something. Looks like 5 or something. Or yeah, well, lost forever. Well, there you go. That's August the 8th, folks.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It's absolutely fascinating. Right, we're going to take it into our next segment now, which is the Turbo Sack, which is your opportunity to have your questions answered. If you have any questions at all, email the Turbo Sack, all one word, at gmail.com. So we have a couple of personal issues. First letter. Dear Doctor, despite being relatively unattractive myself, when I walk down Stockton High Street I feel like Tom Cruise. Can you recommend any other locations which will make me look relatively good looking? And that's from Dunduggan. I mean,
from a local perspective...
Yeah, but just to set the context, do you agree with the spectacle of Stockton High Street?
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of ugly people get down there. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah.
So the thing that always strikes me whenever I return to the northeast is full of framed people and conspicuous display of tattoos. I think that's a relatively English phenomenon.
Yeah. Are people fat in Belgium?
Not really. Not to the same... You don't see... What I see in England is a lot of relatively young women who are quite corpulent. You don't really see that.
I think
you see it in the USA and Australia too, but I would say to a lesser degree.
I was just going to mention the USA. Everything that happens over there happens over here, and everyone's hideously fat in America, aren't they? And it's getting worse. And I think we will get there. It just seems to be the way it happens with a lot of things.
Well, I was listening to a podcast recently about a bloke who'd done some research into the neuroscience of food, and it's his contention that the food industry is deliberately making what they call hyperpalatable foods, which stimulate various pleasure centres in the brain repeatedly, over and over again, with different substances. That's what causes the obesity. But to get back to the question, I'd also recommend, I think Luton is a mixing pot with many foul ingredients. And I think Jeddah, which is a bit of a freak show. It's a port on the Red Sea, and in some ways it's more like an African city than a Middle Eastern city. But the thing about Jeddah is it's the entry for everybody who goes on the pilgrimage to Mecca. And millions of people travel on the pilgrimage to do the Hajj every year, and lots of them don't have any means of getting home, so they end up living on the streets in Jeddah, praying to various medical conditions. That tends to make the streets of Jeddah a bit of a freak show. So I would recommend, Mr. Duggan, that you get yourself to Jeddah or Luton if you also want to stand out.
Yeah. On the flip side, does anywhere spring to mind beautiful people? Just as a lot of interest.
I think parts of Los Angeles, Burbank, Studio City, North Hollywood, because every single person is in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
I remember being at a restaurant in I think it was Glendale, and our waitress was extremely surly. Very, very attractive girl, and the person I was with complained, and her response was, "This isn't my vocation, I'm really a dancer."
Yeah,
So,
it's just what you want to hear. Then obviously there's Church Street, Hartlepool.
Only place I've ever seen a woman urinate in public.
Yeah. Nice.
It wasn't even like, it wasn't...
Was she attractive?
No, it wasn't... she was a bit of a husky gal, and not that it would have excused it, but it wasn't 2 a.m. when she would have been flown with drink. It was like 6:30 in the evening.
Lovely.
But she did step off the pavement and irrigate the gutter.
Yeah, obviously a lady.
So, final question from the Turbo Sack. Dear Dr. Brownhill, like our last correspondent, also, I'm quite repulsive and I'm considering a mail order bride. Do you have any advice? That's from Mr. Barnard Castle.
Well, Mr. Castle, these days you've got a lot to choose from.
I mean, let's break the categories down. You've got your Eastern Europeans, Ukrainians, Russians, etc. Many flavours of Asians, but I would say in the mail order business, you're primarily going to be dealing with Filipinos and Chinese.
Wasn't that where it all started, though?
Yeah, I would say
that was where
the Russian financial crisis of the late
Ting
90s.
Tong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thailand.
Yeah.
I think my number one advice to Mr. Castle would be don't do it for a start. But if you're going to, then I mean, there's pros and cons for all of them.
I'm still getting that Russian brides thing that you set up for me years ago. I still get it.
Any likely candidates in there?
I tell you what, if they're real, I tell you what, mate. Yeah, I've been tempted, and it's been going that long. It can't be a total fraud.
No, because they would have taken all the money and disappeared.
Yeah. I did do a little bit of research, and people tended to say that there were the odd ringers in there, and obviously some people with dubious motives for being on there. But on the whole, it was a genuine thing, because there are some plain ladies on there as well, but there's some absolute stunners. And one thing that I have noticed,
you've obviously given this some study,
was that a couple of years ago, the age range that the young ladies were looking for went way up to 60.
Really?
And it's come right down now where they're looking for men a bit above. There's not that many that will
go for the OAPs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's just because they think, we don't have to do that now. We can...
Well, that's probably a reflection of the improving economic situation in Russia.
Yeah, but it was, very noticeable.
So, I mean, I've worked in Russia, and I would say this about Russians. They're not going to speak much English. I mean, that's a positive and a negative. And they're going to be as feisty as fuck. And I would say those are the two principal drawbacks you're going to have with a Russian or a Ukrainian. Now, your Southeast Asians, I would say, are going to be harder to culturally integrate. Particularly, you get one who's been living in a treehouse and eating fish with her fucking feet. So, but she's not going to be pitching dinner plates at your head like the Russian's going to be. And also the Russian will drink and smoke a lot.
Yeah.
So, my advice to Barnard Castle would be don't do any of it. Just play World of Warcraft and you'll eventually meet a British woman, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of things on that. One is I like to go to supermarkets really late at night.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see a lot of men with mail order brides doing their shopping around midnight.
You think for the shame element?
Yep.
Wow. Because
you see strange little deformed men with very, very nice looking ladies, in supermarkets at, around the 12 o'clock mark.
Now, are we primarily talking the Southeast Asian market here?
Yeah. I don't know whether it's just because they're obviously easy to spot.
Yeah. I think the trained eye could pick a Russian out, but they would be much easier to integrate into our society.
But then it's there's still the disparity of the looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find that quite entertaining, and it's just because they obviously think, people are going to look at us and think, oh yeah. So they just come out when it's dark. And one other thing, I do actually have some experience of somebody getting somebody across.
Oh, really?
A friend of ours, I won't mention his name. Do you remember me telling you?
I don't. Where was he getting her from?
Moscow.
I know the one, yeah.
Yeah, he actually went across there, and
but this wasn't an internet job. I think this predates the internet.
The internet was involved, I
Really?
think, to some degree, but I think the mechanics were pretty much the same.
Yeah, the dynamic of the relationship was financial security versus punching above your weight in the looks department.
Yeah. Anyway, he went over there for the introduction, and that seemed to go quite well. I won't go into the detail on that one. Wine was taken, and so he sent the money across to come over to England, and this friend of mine is not the tidiest of gentlemen. So when she arrived at his abode, I think after getting the dictionary out, he managed to work out that she'd said that you live like a pig. I think it went downhill from there. I think he put it with for another day or two. She demanded money so she could go to the shops. So he got her some money, but he insisted that she buy a plane ticket with it, and it was
see you later.
Okay, bye. But, she was a lovely looking lady, but looks ain't everything.
No, the ability to tolerate living like a pig is equally important.
He did live like a pig, but there you go.
Well, cautionary tale there for you, Mr. Barnard Castle, and I think the cumulative advice of both Dr. Brownell and I is don't do it. So that's it for this episode of the Turbocast. Remember, all feedback to theturbosack@gmail.com. Please dig the Turbocast. Leave a review of the Turbocast on iTunes. I recommend leaving 5 stars. Dr. Brownhill will now play us out with an original composition. What's this one called, Doctor? What's it all about?
I've no idea. When I hear the doorbell go, I'm thinking change of heart could have been so different if I'd shown you from the start. I always felt the same, I never could impart. When I hear the phone ring, I convince myself it's you, but I don't know why I do this when it's never true. I always fell apart, you always were my glue. And now you're gone, what can I do? A pile of pieces and they're all blue. When I check my email, find I'm looking for your name. Do you think if we got back it would go wrong again? I think that I have changed, I wanna come back in. But I hate him more now he's got a name. When he is gone I'll love you just the same. His love could not be as strong as mine, and mine will burn till the end of time. When I go to bed I cannot help but think of you, and you're always waiting for me when I wake up too. I know that it's all wrong, but what am I to do? When I look into the mirror now I see your face. You took my heart and now you've come back for my place. Why won't you talk to me? Why don't you have the grace?